it's not easy because we also have Campbell talking about, and has been for a year now, the Fed's trying to do a controlled demolition of the economy and the dollar so that they can roll out the CBDCs and the digital dollars. So with that, we'll see. On a daily basis, because we were looking at the weekly before, we are oversold and getting bullish signals here with an ERI TSI trying to get it back above, but until and unless the TSI is above 20 on a closing daily basis, I've learned not to get in. It's interesting here, and we certainly could be bottoming, but look at that big sell block overhead. So personally, I would not be, in Bitcoin. I sold mine at 106, my last third of it, and then, after getting stopped out twice down in these regions. So, it has a lot to prove here, and I'm okay missing this rather than going long, because we're below the 21 and 50 EMA. We're in a downtrending wedge. More than likely, this dumps down into the 90K region, maybe 91K, and then route pushes higher. But look at all that overhead resistance, and that's our north star. All right, some of you chiming in about one, so let me get caught up here. Todd saying, I'm interested in your take on Raoul Paul video and Tau. Which one? The one that I posted, ICP and link? Well, yeah, we can get to that, Todd. I did enjoy the video, but my take, let me come back to that, because essentially my take is this is interesting for what he said, and I'll recap that here. But just because it's on topic, David saying Juan's bottom a little over 2 weeks out. Okay, a little farther out than Camels. Yeah, these things are, but so the question is, and this is why we're going back to that Wayne Gretzky. Where's Wayne Gretzky? Why was he the best, greatest hockey player ever lived? Arguably, his secret was he goes where the puck is going to be. So we want to know, in case I haven't said that in a while, we want to our indicators here are really trying to tell us where is the puck going to be? Where's price going to be? And that would behoove all of you to sort of get in that mindset and not trade emotionally. Because trading emotionally and chasing the latest pump is a surefire way to get wrecked. And I know there's some new people here, so just to make sure we're on the same page, the puck here likely is to be down here. How do we know that? Well, lower highs, lower lows, lower lows. We have a support line here temporarily holding. Now, if these sell blocks weren't here, if we turn that off, now this is our we should call it the Wizard of Oz indicator, because remember the Wizard of Oz, you've heard me say it, everyone thought it was magic until they look behind the curtain, and he's back there with his pulleys and levers, and I might be getting that wrong, you guys. I haven't seen this movie in 30 years probably, but that's my analogy. I'm going to stick to it. So, pardon me. This here, without the sell blocks, you might say, hey, this looks pretty good. We have support right here. And then the old me and the old us, even in the last cycle, we'd be trying to decipher the tea leaves here and say, well, we have this and higher this, but no, this has been such a huge addition by giving and showing us that little bit of information. Where are the sellers lining up? So there. So the macro side, kind of bearish, although Solana is temporarily kind of looking interesting. So let me just see here. Tanya's saying if there's not enough Bitcoin supply in more institution states and maybe more countries, et cetera, buying, how much do you think Bitcoin really dropped during the bear market? Yeah, and we'll cover that. You haven't been around as long as most people here, but welcome, by the way, Tanya. And this study here is one I've been doing for, I guess, nearly 2 years now. It seems like the potential path to 150K, 200K Bitcoin. And these are all of the factors. Now, we started with 7 factors. And as more started to happen, like BlackRock, Fidelity, again, we started this, I want to say at least 18 months ago. That happened. The bank term funding program ending. Would that create QE? We didn't really see any direct QE. We don't know. QE money printing to pay down the debt. We haven't seen that. De-dollarization, that's kind of in play. So to your point, corporate FOMO. Tesla just announced they still have over $1 billion in Bitcoin or something, and they're just sort of sitting on it. But MicroStrategy, now Strategy, soon to be just Sailor, says just keeps buying. But to your point, supply shock here, number 8, less available exchange supply. So we can see that on the charts, and I'll see if I can pull up a visual on that. And yet, price still keeps going down. So, the bottom line is we just really never know who's selling, why are they selling, what's going on there. All we can do is look at the price, and price action, and that tells the real story. And that's it. And then for the times where you might say, oh, well, what about big surprises? Well, we've shown, and isn't it interesting that these big surprises almost invariably happen when Bitcoin and price has been lingering, kind of drifting up higher, that Chinese weather balloon example, and just floating along there for a long time, and then boom, get shot out of the sky. So we're getting much better at tuning in on, hey, this thing's, it's what it shows is the buyer is getting exhausted. Buyer exhaustion's happening. So many catalysts will drop it. But I remember on the charts, right before the FTX example, I'm like, hey guys, this chart doesn't look so good. We're coming up to resistance and losing momentum, and then FTX happened. So causal coincidence, who knows? Anyway, so in terms of your question, how much do you think Bitcoin will really drop during the bear market? Temporarily, and the whales and market makers really are in control here, and it's going to depend on if there's enough incentive. Now, the liquidations, that's why it happened. They liquidated 2 billion in traders because they can. And there's that old example. I won't go into it. The dog because he can. Some of you might know that one. But and the point is, if there's enough money and incentive there, they'll make it happen. How far could it go? I don't think it would go below 75K. It's never gone below the price as it was at the election. So, and you might say, well, Brett, you're crazy, 70,000. But we know that Bitcoin can come down and often does 30, sometimes 50%. So to come back down to 72K and right down below where it was, we could go 30% and come down to 68K, 70K. I'm not saying it does. I think, certainly coming down to 84K, which we can see on the weekly, is possible. Now, don't freak out. I'm just saying I wouldn't go be buying anything right now and loading up. Bitcoin needs to kind of show us what it can do, and then I somehow messed up my study there. Let me just undo that. But this is also how high I think it can go. So we've broken that 100,000 level. That was at 1.618 Fibonacci. From here, if we gather enough momentum, and in the charts, I've shared some of them. Typically, right around now, there's that Jan-Feb pullback, and then rockets higher, and Bitcoin can go much higher. Some are saying double in 2 weeks. I don't think that happens, but it is true Bitcoin's biggest moves happen in a short period of time. Still, to me, this 112K level, I want to see it break and close above that. Because from here to there, the greater risk is downside, and I like to buy into strength or momentum. It's a tongue twister, momentum. All right. All right, so let me go back a bit, and then I'll get to the current questions. Thanks for the questions, guys. It's good. Keeps the classes interesting. Todd says, and Todd, we chatted last week, I know. Interested in your take on the Raoul Paul video and Tau. So Tau is BitTensor, and I have been following that. Let's pull up a chart. Didn't really know what they do or did, and it's already so expensive that I was kind of like, look, this thing's already run. I'm putting in the wrong symbol here. It's Tau. And I would recommend going and reviewing that because I watch a lot of content here and I'm trying to review that a little bit deeper. So, but he's saying that BitTensor is going to be a big leader. And let's just take a look at the chart. Tom, I might need to sort of unpack that. But if you watch the video, my take is based on what Raoul Paul was saying. Injective, or sorry, not injective. Oops. Like that. TradingView, by the way, they were being very generous running TradingView on multiple devices all at once. So if you see my session disconnected, I now suddenly it knows if I'm running it on my Mac over here or over here, and so it doesn't let me do more than one at a time. So it's in a downtrending channel. Here's what I would say is, interesting. So I'm session disconnected on all of my. It's never done that live here before. All right, so in a downtrending channel, what we want to look for is a break above, and regardless of my take on it, I think that we want to be watching this and letting the charts tell us what it's going to do. I'm trying to remember specifically, though, Todd, what he was saying about BitTensor, other than it's going to be a leader, I believe, in the AI space, and you know what? Let me come back to that, to ICP, etc., and Chainlink. It was good to hear him talk about Chainlink because I was concerned that it was not going to be a leader in the cross-chain compatibility, which is becoming a crowded space. And I know Polkadot's getting into that, and they plan to be interoperable and EVM compatible, which is Ethereum virtual machine. Layer 2s can run on other blockchains, and that's good for us long term. Hey, this is Brett from Moonstream. If you'd like to learn more about our pro trading signals or our live classes every Wednesday or our Retire Rich program, go over to moonstream.io/start.